I'm Richard Porter.
I'm Jonny Smith.
And this is On the Other Side of Things, the Smith & Sniff spin-off in which we answer your questions. Hi.
Yakety yak. Thanks for coming back.
It's Friday, if you're listening to the show when it's first published, and we're going to answer some listener questions. I'm going to start, if I may...
Please.
With
Please do.
With one... Yeah, well, this is an interesting one. It's been posited as an ethical question from Jordan in Bristol,
right?
Who presumably drove to Cardiff to get access to the internet.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
So he says, I come bearing a question of ethics or possibly mild trespass. I've recently acquired a 2002 Porsche Boxster S in signal yellow.
Oh, no. That's my favourite colour.
I knew that would trigger you in an interesting way.
You swine flute.
Well, there we go. Jordan's got your car. But he says, while flicking through some old paperwork that came with the car, I found an old address belonging to a previous owner. This owner had the car for 15 years, so naturally I became curious about what else they may have had on their driveway during this time period. Long story short, I popped the address into Google Street View, and there it was, the very same Boxster, basking on a pleasant suburban driveway alongside a Clubman Cooper S. Good start.
Brilliant.
Solid pairing, Jordan says. I click back to 2022 and a third car appears, a Mark IV Golf GTI, jazz blue no less. Now we're cooking. Then, in 2021, something wonderful happens. A Saab 9.5 shows up. A classy move. One of the best 3-car garages I've seen in a while. But I couldn't stop there. I kept clicking back to 2010 and my jaw dropped. 2 Saabs. Not one, 2 Saab 9.5s replacing the Golf and now flanking the Boxster either side like proud Scandinavian sentries.
Gosh, this is strong work.
It really is. Jordan goes on to say, at that moment, I knew the car had lived a good life. It had been nurtured. This was a Saab household. Possibly a multiple Saab household. I've slept well ever since. So here's my question. Is it morally acceptable to go full Inspector Morse on a previous owner just to find out what other cars they owned? And, more importantly, does prior Saab ownership make you more likely to trust the seller when buying second-hand?
Right, Jordan, first things first. That car's mine at some point, okay? So when you get bored of it, which you will, because yellow cars get boring after a while, talk to me and I'll have it off you. I think this is perfectly...
Nice try.
I think this is perfectly acceptable to do it because it's part of the process of getting to grips and getting under the skin of a recently purchased car. And I think if you're someone that enjoys the research of buying the car in the first place or finding companies or parts to make the car even better, this is just another one of those really lovely moments, I think, that gives you a warm feeling inside. And I know people that have gone through old documents and found previous addresses and written to the owners. And in a lot of cases, they've replied and they've said, oh, yeah, do you know what? I'm glad you got in touch because I've got a load of new old stock parts in the loft that I was going to throw in the bin. Or, yeah, I've got a picture of the Queen sitting in my car doing gang signs. Would you like it? Because it might be quite nice for the history file. So definitely you should do that, but politely, not in a stalky way. I think
this online it's not stalking, is it? It's just online research is okay.
Yeah, let's not muddy it with stalking. It's not right.
No, well, that's the thing. If you found the previous owner's address and then you fetched up on their doorstep, that's, I think, crossing a line.
Yes.
If you're just using Google Street View to have a little nosy at what they previously owned, I think that's okay.
I think it's fine.
As long as you're doing it for your personal use only and not then sort of plastering it all across social media, then it's fine. I've talked about this before on the podcast about when I was contacted by a chap about the Vauxhall VXR8 long-termer that I had from Evo.
Yeah.
And they they'd subsequently bought the car, and they asked me loads of questions. It was a real sort of extensive back and forth. They were asking me sort of quite detailed things like, did I use the engine hard from cold? And I was like, no, I absolutely wouldn't. I like to believe I've got mechanical sympathy, and that car's got an oil temp gauge, which is something I always treasure for being sympathetic to knowing that an engine is warmed up properly. And so I answered all these questions, and only when we sort of like about 20 email exchanges in, he went, oh, actually, I sold the car last year. And I was a bit like,
yeah, that's
why are you
weird.
asking all the questions then? But
Yeah,
I don't know. I did wonder whether maybe whoever they'd sold it to had come back and gone, the engine's exploded, it's your fault. And they were trying to see if, in fact, it wasn't their fault. But they never said that. It was only my guesswork.
No, I think this is a really good letter from Jordan, and I'm excited on his behalf, weirdly. And that's
it is, isn't it?
Inexplicable for most people.
Oh, what a bonus.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like the car's very good anyway. The fact that it's 2002 car, and it's come with paperwork that goes back to previous owners in itself, and that it was owned by the person that Jordan has been looking up for 15 years. This is all good. His other question about...
Bottom line is, are Saab people trustworthy?
Well, that's it, yes. His other question, does Saab ownership make you more likely to trust the seller?
Yes.
Is the answer, but at the same time, I appreciate this may in fact be illogical and stupid, and that Saab owners could just as likely be fraudsters and murderers as anyone else.
I was about to say exactly the same thing. I'm saying yes, but really blindly. I'm just going, yeah, it's fine.
It's almost like I'd file that in the same place as, I'm quite superstitious in stupid ways, and I know that it's illogical, and I know that it's not bad luck to put new shoes on a table, and yet I won't do it. And it freaks me out when people do, as an example of an irrational superstition that I have. And so I'm going to stick with my belief that if you buy a car from someone who also owns a Saab or two, then they're going to be a decent person. I know it doesn't really check out under scrutiny.
I'm going with that, Rich, but as soon as you said logical, I kept thinking about the Supertramp song, the Logical song. And the thing about that song is it's really annoying. Really annoying. I can't bear it.
And there's your earworm for everybody listening. Sorry.
Yeah. Damn you, Supertramp. Do they predate supercars? I don't know. Supertramps? Not sure.
I don't...
What do you reckon? I think they do.
I never really thought that the name of the band sort of suggested extremely high-performance tramp, which is not...
I think Supertramp, as in the term of a superior tramp, I think that predates supercars. I think that they were before the Miura. That's what I'm going to say. Right, anyway, on to an actual question, because that's the point of Otosot on the other side of things. This is from Sean Duffy. Hi, I can't think of an innovative insult, so I'll skip trying. I was recently driving for some distance behind a Kia Soul, which had been completely rebadged as if it was a Mercedes A140. What? Centre caps, Mercedes star, the works. As confusing as pretending your Kia is a Mercedes is to begin with, going for a lower spec, older than your actual vehicle model, has to be particularly weird. Yeah, I'm getting weirded out just reading this. Have either of you ever seen other half-assed attempts at disguising a vehicle's make and model? CMTMB. Yes, I think I'll jump straight on this one the Chrysler 300C.
That's immediately what came to mind for me as well.
And I feel sorry for it because I have an affinity to these cars, having owned one, and I always used to get cross when people were trying to mould it into a faux Bentley. With the Flying B monikers on the centre caps and they often used to change the entire grille.
Yeah.
Some people would even get the headrests removed and stitched. And it was like, no. It's a good car in its own right, and stop being a prick. Because it's never going to work, is it? Never going to work.
That's the thing. It's not. And it sort of feels like it's so easily disproved what you're trying to get away with, Because anyone, and you're right, it's like there's no, where's the shame, particularly when they were new, in having a Chrysler 300C? That was a decent car, kind of interesting car.
It was a very good car. It's just a shame
and a good-looking car.
It was great. It's just a shame. I don't understand why they followed it up with such an average offering. I hate it when manufacturers do that.
Yeah, for some reason, this question though put me in mind of when sometimes car makers slap other badges on prototypes to try and throw people off the scent, because that obviously is done for a reason. It's so famously, I think when the E46 3 Series was being developed, it was around the time that BMW had bought Rover. Yeah. And some of those prototypes were perhaps with a Rover grille sort of cable tied to the front, and I couldn't tell if this was meant as a sort of tongue-in-cheek joke or not, but I think there was also, I think at some point, Jag, I can't remember which car they were testing, I think it might be the XJ40, which had this very complicated full fiberglass camouflage kit on it, and some of the engineers got some chrome beading and made a fake BMW kidney grille for the front and stuck it on.
Is this litigious, this sort of behaviour nowadays?
It's definitely happened. Another one was, I think, the last Range Rover Sport.
Range Rover what?
Spout.
Spout.
When they did the sort of swirly wrap on it, they surrounded the grille in a sort of oblong shape, but then they left a diagonal line, or deliberately put a diagonal line of swirly camouflage tape across the middle of the grille, so it might accidentally look a bit like a Volvo.
Oh, okay.
And I can't remember if that was the one. There's definitely, I've heard this from actual car engineers and test drivers, that sometimes a stern phone call or message comes through from the other car company going, knock it off. Come on. Play fair. That's not, which I think it's all good sport, isn't it? Because I think anyone who's in the business of taking and selling spy photographs, it's their job to find out what the car really is, and they're not fooled at all. So it just seems like a bit of fun. But
we need to go back to the fact that someone has gone to great depths,
yes,
to change a soul to a Mercedes A140, which is very niche.
Picking the bones out of that one. But why would you?
Unless it's a mother-in-law or an elderly person who had a Merc A-Class and it got crashed and it got written off, and they couldn't find another, and they couldn't bear losing their loved Mercedes A-Class, so they just pilfered little bits off it and just stuck them on for a little bit of a giggle, because they're like, look, it's fine, I'll be dead soon, so I'm just going to do this just to mock the world, and then I'm going to leave. And also that car's largely unsellable now, possibly, if they've drilled a hole in the bonnet and put a star on it.
That's a good point, actually. Yes,
it's totally unsellable, because people would be so confused if you were to see it for sale, they wouldn't know what to think.
Well, particularly if the owner completed their delusion by listing it on Auto Trader under the Mercedes section.
Well, that would be... How do you feel about smarts when people put Mercedes badges on them? The early ones especially. That was a little bit of a thing.
I think that's admissible as long as they glue a Swatch watch to the dashboard as well, as a nod to the other part of that car's heritage.
Well, the whole steering wheel should be one of those large swatches that used to hang on the wall, like a novelty bedroom.
Yes. That's a great idea. That's the kind of thing Flavor Flav would do for his car, I think.
Oh, yeah, completely.
Given his known love of a big clock.
He'd love all that. The irony is Flavor Flav's probably running late all the time because of the weight of the said clocks. I would have run for that train, but unfortunately,
I've got I've got a massive wall clock as a necklace, and it keeps smacking me in the tads. So I wonder though about this Kia Mercedes. Would we look more kindly on it if somebody had rebadged a Mercedes A40 as a Kia?
Now that would be fun. Imagine if it was that person's husband or wife or nephew or niece, and they just decided as a bet one Christmas to do a shit identity swap. I think that'd be quite fun, wouldn't it?
You're right. It's sort of amusing because you're downgrading it in the sort of hierarchy of badge snobbery.
And it's better than the recent influx of satanic Jaguars that we've had to endure.
Yeah,
I think that sort of thing, that leaves me not just confused, but actually quite scared. Whereas this is quite jolly. I think if I saw this, especially if it was in Norfolk or another octogenarian area, I'd just giggle a bit and go, that's fine. Right. Anyway, well, that's a great letter. Well, great letter.
Yeah, it's very good. I've got a question. This is for you, really, Jonny, which is from a listener called Tim, who says, hi there, you pair of clown shoes. A quick question. As people who have had their fair share of motors, how do you typically source them? Especially recently, Jonny. We're on the lookout for a cheap runaround, but are often flummoxed by generally pretty sketchy and pricey options. The internet is awash with cheapest blank in the country. Brackets,
yes.
Your Tesla, Jonny.
Yeah.
Where are you getting these leads? Or is it just a lot of graft and a keen eye?
I think it's largely, Tim, good question, largely the latter. I think I do tend to look around a bit and have fingers in pies. It really depends on the type of car you're looking for, because if you're looking for just something cheap and cheerful, there's lots of different internet avenues. But I think our friends at Pistonheads have a great classified system, as well as the auction system. And I think the good thing about the classifieds in Pistonheads is they're often car enthusiasts, so the descriptions tend to be a little bit more detailed. And you can also go into the forums and ask people what they think of those, or find out what foibles those cars have. I still to this day, I mean, I do the odd Gumtree trawl, I do the odd eBay trawl. I even look, because I can't help it, in the window of newsagents and corner shops for those just little placards, because you know that's going to be elderly spec. and that could be panning for gold right there. You just don't know.
That's a very good question, a very good point, isn't it? Because Tim's saying they're looking for a cheap runaround, and an older lady or gentleman who's giving up, a very low mileage Fiesta or something could be absolutely what Tim needs.
You could, you could put. Don't be afraid to ask. Yeah, don't be afraid to ask. Like, you could ask on a local WhatsApp or kind of Facebook group if it's in a general area where there's a good community, because someone might go, oh yeah, my mother's about to give up driving and she's had this, whatever it is, for 20 years, and she just doesn't want the hassle of, I don't know, some dealer coming to take it from her. So loads and loads of options, and there isn't really one in particular, unless you're looking for a niche car.
Well, that's it. Also, if you're a nice person and a decent sort, people can be sentimental about cars, and I think sometimes when they're getting rid, they like to think that their old car is going to a good home. And so, 100%. If you are genuinely going to give it a good home, then that counts for something. You may be able to strike a deal. I'd rather sell it to you than a dealer.
Completely. That's what happened to my mum and dad's Golf, right? That's recently been rehomed to a Smith & Sniff listener. Because the lady got offered such a paltry amount of money by the VW dealer that she bought it from as a trade-in. She was offended, and she was like, "No, I'd rather give it out to somebody else for an absolute bargain price." And that's how that whole ball started rolling. So, always talk to people. Always talk to me.
Talk to me.
It's a good question, that. And
it's a good question.
Yeah, thanks for that, Tim, on that side of things. Right, this one's from Ian Wells. Hello, you pair of SSGs. I've got a burning question for you both. What's the best motorway service entry slip road in the UK? And why is it Stafford northbound on the M6?
Oh, yes.
Stafford northbound.
Because it's like a little flat Nürburgring. It's got curves, if that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, okay.
And also, from memory, in fact, did I stop there? I might have stopped there not that long ago. It's very smooth, which some motorway slip roads are not, particularly the exits. Terrible. But it is very good. I'll tell you one that's quite spicy.
Yeah.
if we're talking motorway service area entry slip roads,
Yes.
is the southbound carriageway entry to London Gateway services,
Oh, no.
because it has a 90-degree bend in it.
It's not messing around, is it?
So you come off the motorway and you're going uphill, which helps to shed speed. And you need to shed speed because then it does a 90 right to go over the bridge, because all the services are actually on the other side on the northbound carriageway. And you have to have your wits about you, because there's a sort of, on the one hand, you're like, I want to try and go around here as quickly as possible because it's exciting. But on the other hand, I don't want to bin my car at London Gateway services.
I think if you like a real kind of helter-skelter, the M42 around the outskirts of Birmingham, where it goes into the M6 eastbound, sort of southeast bound, I guess. And it's a huge curly-whirly of an affair, but it can be taken at high speed. And but it tightens more than you expect. And up until a couple of years ago, when it got resurfaced, it used to have a couple of quite crucial kind of joins on apexes, so that you could be going round there on quite a hard lock, really dialed into the corner, and then suddenly there would be an undulation, a crack in a join in the road, and it would send the car skittering a little bit. You had to watch out because there was a lot of gravel wash on the outer edges.
Oh, no.
And I've got history with gravel wash, so I had to really be careful around there. But I used to use it a lot for test cars for deciding how committed you wanted to be. You'd go in really tight for the first half of the curly-whirly, and you just keep piling on the speed to see how far out you could wash before you came off the throttle a bit. It was good. It was really good fun. I don't do that anymore, though.
Speaking of quite fast, but be careful kind of curves, the services on the M6 toll road, what are they called? Norton Keynes, isn't it?
I don't know. He sounds like a
they've got a name. I thought it always sounds like a firm of solicitors or something. You just go, Norton Keynes are conveyancing our house. But no, they also have a service area on the M6 toll, and it's got quite a sort of fast curved slip road. That's one of those services that's a bit fiddly to get to. There's a bit of there's an extra roundabout and stuff, and you just go, could you not have built it a bit closer to the motorway? Okay, anyway, but yeah, that one's like one of those ones where I could see a circumstance, particularly a powerful car, where you could get carried away and then have a slightly embarrassing smear down a barrier.
Oh, yeah, I hate that idea.
But but yeah, I think I think that Ian's probably nailed it with Stafford's northbound, unless anyone knows differently.
Well, yeah.
hello@smithandsniff.com if you have any thoughts on Britain's best motorway service area entry slip roads. We're so interesting, aren't we?
Have we got time for one more? Or
yeah, I was gonna. There's one here from Dan Woodward that I liked. He says, "I've become a bit obsessed with searching Vinted for weird items, and recently purchased a Peugeot tracksuit." Now,
I saw this picture come up. It's
Dan
brilliant.
sent us this. He said, it's incredible. I can't work out how old this might be because there's a whiff of 90s or 2000s about it. It's
I think it's
green,
late 80s. I was going to say
sort of jadey trousers, and then the top is white but with matching greeny sleeve ends, bizarrely, like sort of from halfway down the forearm to the cuff.
I'm going to put this. I might put this picture with his permission on our Instagram because I just think it looks like one of those clothing influencers.
Yes,
who takes a picture in the mirror.
It's the sort of graphics on the chest that are the highlight.
There's airbrush,
including the word Peugeot. There's a bit of sort of airbrushing, like a sort of splatter effect. It's very anyway. He's also, Dan says, he's implying here, I think, that he's bought some Alfa Romeo trousers at some point.
Oh, really?
He's not enclosed a picture of that. So his question, he's took two questions. The first one is your favourite item of automotive clothing ever seen.
has to be the infamous Veilside jeans that still. I actually confirmed. I don't know if you were there, but I confirmed with my old colleague, who's now a successful photographer, Mark Riccioni, who still has. He said, "Do you know I've still got those Veilside jeans that were sent to us on Max Power?" And I went, "No way." And I said, "Can you remind me of what the waist was?" And he said, "They're 26-inch waist." So
oh my God.
He said, "I genuinely don't know anybody that could fit into them." So they remain an ornament.
Wow.
Yeah, extremely small, but tunable jeans. So they went down in folklore on Max Power because the challenge was always, can you fit into the Veilside jeans? And pretty much nobody was. It was like Cinderella's shoe, but a little bit more, a little bit weirder. You saw something on eBay that you blimmin' messaged me in the early hours, but I haven't said anything to the listeners.
Well, no, so when was this the other day that I messaged you that I found by chance on eBay a Honda Beat dealership staff jacket. The listing actually describes it as rare JDM vintage. It is acid green, like Lamborghini green. Weirdly strident green, considering that the Beat wasn't ever sold in that kind of colour. And it has a sort of a logo that's it's not quite the logo off the car, but it's sort of like got this graphic that says Beat and then midship amusement underneath it.
I've got to say, listeners, this is so much more impressive than it sounds in the description. It is so of its time.
Underneath the logo, it says Primo, which was a Honda has or had different sort of dealership brandings for different model ranges in Japan. So I guess the Beat was sold through Primo, the Primo dealership chain. And on the back, and this is my favourite bit, it has the same Beat logo with midship amusement on it, but larger. It has Honda written beneath that, but above it, and sort of curving across the shoulder blades like the name on a sports jersey, it says Beat Staff.
Rich, if you don't, and I've said this to you in the WhatsApp, if you don't buy this, then you're a prick. Okay,
but I have a problem. I am slightly against wearing clothing that matches a car that you own that closely. And I already have that Honda cap that the chap from Honda very kindly gave me at Goodwood Festival of Speed. So that already is pushing it, I think. Also, this Beat jacket is listed for £107.75, or best offer.
You try finding another. I've got
that is the thing, isn't it?
On my shoulder.
It's sort of in a blouson style with elasticated cuffs.
I know it is. I
wonder how it will wear. The description says it has no side on it, but it fits like a medium.
Did you say no size on it? I thought you said no side on it. I was going to say, well, what do you mean sideless jacket?
It's sort of bizarre, like a weird inverse waistcoat. No, it says, well, it actually says, I've just looked at the description. It says size free, but fits like a medium. Provide measurements on request. It also notes it is over 30 years old and is in very good condition considering that. But
can I suggest something? You and I are at the Piston Heads annual service.
We are. That's a week tomorrow, isn't it?
It is, and there might be enough time for you to order this jacket, have it delivered.
Oh gosh, it is in the UK, I think.
Yeah,
yes,
put it
in
around.
Slough.
Put it around your torso, and then go up on stage when we talk drizzle for an hour or so, in front of Piston Heads warriors at the Bicester Motion. I think that's what the people deserve. That's what they deserve.
Is it worth £107.75 though?
It says all near offer, so you need to saddle up your haggling tool.
What would you go in at?
I'd go 75 delivered.
Yes, that would be my sort of ballpark. But that's still a lot of money for an acid green jacket. I'm not going to wear this doing the school run.
Look, put it like this. This is a vital part of the potential service history of the car. So I hadn't
thought about that.
I'm not saying you're ever going to sell it, but Beat people will be niche, very enthusiastic people, correct?
That is true. They like a Beat accessory.
Right. So if you said, oh, by the way, I've got this and this and this, and I've got an original dealership staff Honda Beat jacket, they will lose their minds. I'm just putting that out there.
Are you selling this jacket because you're doing a hell of a sales pitch on it, considering?
No, I just think it's so natty that it needs to happen.
Natty?
Yes, it's natty.
Is it snazzy? Would you say it's snazzy?
I'm going to say snazzy as well. And I can't wait. I'd like you to appear in that jacket, but I'd also you'd like to be wearing some patent leather sort of Quentin Wilson style shoes with it as well. Helmsman / wedding shoes.
I have actually. I've ordered a T-shirt for Pistonhead's annual service, but I don't know if it's going to arrive in time. Frustratingly, not a Beat T-shirt.
Well,
but
look,
obviously, if the T-shirt doesn't arrive, I could just wear the jacket and nothing underneath.
Oh gosh, that's so good. Miami, late 80s.
Yes.
Well, look, join us at the Pistonheads annual service if you wish. It's on the 9th, and we would really, really love to have you there. In fact, there's a 10% discount if you use a special code.
There is a 10% discount.
So go to you can go to the Pistonhead site and click events, and we have our discount code, which is SAS10. I know it sounds like a special forces thing, but it does stand for Smith and Sniff with 10, denoting 10% discount. It's a big show. It's the big one at Bicester Motions in Oxfordshire.
It really is, isn't it? There's going to be lots of stuff going on there, including us on stage doing a podcast recording, and we'll be milling around all day looking at cars, and I may be wearing an extremely strident jacket. I don't know.
I think you will. Oh, also, almost certainly the Eagle Quest will be there. So whenever you go to a high-performance car gathering event, the one thing you always want to find is an ex-funereal medium tube.
Yes.
Straight six car.
On extremely balloony tyres. What should I come in then? Because the Metro's not ready, but I could bring the Beat. It's away being detailed as we speak, but it will be back by then. So it'll be looking
I know
shiny.
what you should bring, Rich.
What's that?
Bring the Beat, wear the Beat jacket.
Oh, God.
Sing to the Beat.
The option is, of course, the Land Rover. I could bring the Land Rover, but anyway,
do you wear a blues on in a Defender?
No, I'd wear a gilet, but an acid green gilet that promotes the Peugeot 107 or something. Anyway, well, it's a great. Sorry, that we seem to have drifted wildly off here. But
I'm really sorry.
Dan did have a tiny follow-up question, which was if you could design any item of clothing for a manufacturer, what would it be?
Gosh, that's a good one. I quite liked it when I've got a friend who's got a Colin McRae endorsed mountain bike. I'm trying to remember who it was made by, but it was when he was in his WRC. I think it was Ford era, not Subaru era. And he is a fanatic on World Rally stuff. So he said, although it's not worth much money, he says it's very rare. So he loves that. And he used it as a pit bike. So I think that's really cool.
Oh, okay.
So I think I'd quite like a... Do you know what I'd like? I'd quite like a, French van manufacturers. Citroën have always been good at it with Berlingos and things.
Mm.
With the what's the Berlingo which had the skylights and the storage in the spine on the ceiling? It was open space or open space.
Well, multispace was
multispace.
But I don't think that you could have the multispace without that thing. I think it was just an option, a very good one.
It was a very good option. I'd like a French people carrier accessory, and it would be effectively a safe hanging basket. So it would really embrace the house plant movement, which I love, but within the car and safe. So it'd be a designer plant basket in a people carrier. Okay, that's niche.
Okay. As far as an item of clothing goes, I wondered about a sort of a formal jacket, but made of Golf GTI seat material.
Oh,
or Pasha for that matter, a Porsche jacket made of Pasha.
A Pasha blazer.
Yes.
Gosh, that would give you
Pasha blazer.
That would be so heavy on the eyes and the head. Be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but it would be a talking point. And maybe
also the only blazer you could legit go raving in.
Oh God, yeah. It would go well as a rave.
A rave
a bit
blazer.
hot, but a rave blazer. Breathable rave blazers. There's a niche that needs to be explored.
Porsche, if you're
In
listening.
very vibrant patterns.
Pasha Rave Blazer. Official Porsche.
Pasha Rave Blazer. Right. Copyrighted or something.
Good.
Good. Well, there we go. We solved something or other. And that's probably all we have time for this Otosot. But we will be back on Monday with a normal show. And hopefully we'll see you then. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.